So, all righty. With that, next up, Nancy Windham. You are on the mic. Let's hear for Nancy. Woot woot.
Thank you, Jody. Let me just share my screen here. There you go. Okay, well, my name is Nancy Windham, and my background is operations and SaaS management. I did a lot of sourcing of different SaaS products and implemented them and also administered them for several different companies. But one of the things that I really like to do, and one of my hobbies, is baking and cooking. And so I wanted to create an org that I could track my recipes and just have more information about them all in one place. And I have several future iterations of this, but I want to show you where I'm at right now. One of the things that I really wanted to focus on learning in the last month or so is really getting into flows more. Like Anne said, there's a lot to it. And the way to get into it is to just do it. And so I want to show you and start here with my chocolate chip cookie recipe, just give you a view of what it looks like. My details are here. I have my prep time, how to make the recipe, my instructions about the recipe, and then some recipe ingredients. And these are all of those ingredients. Let me take you real quick as to how you make this recipe. We're going to go to our recipe wizard, and we're just going to fill it out. And we're going to do a very simple recipe today. We're going to do chocolate cookies. And this is not my recipe. I actually got it online. Actually, it wasn't online. It was a book by Arlene Fowler, but I'm going to put this in here as a cookbook, and I'm going to give her credit. And I can't type her name. There we go. And we're going to go through this flow, and it's going to go through some dependent fields, looking at what I've said before to give you more information and direct you to the correct areas that you want to be in. So this particular type of recipe, we're going to call it American cuisine, and it is a dessert. And I have a dependent field here that we can go to cookies. Now, this is a no-bake cookie recipe, and servings really depends on the kind of day that you're having. So if it's a bad day, you may have one serving. If it's a good day, you may have as many as 24. Our oven temperature, we're not going to use it at this time because this is a cooktop. Cooking time is about 15 minutes. And to prep and pull everything together, you're going to need about 10. And again, bad day, one cookie, you can eat it straight out of the pan. Or if you want to make cookies for later and share, you can let them rest for 15 minutes after you scoop them out. On our next screen, we're going to talk about what goes into this cookie recipe. For the interest of time, I'm just going to pick a couple of different ingredients here. Normally, I would go through and pick out all of my ingredients that I'm looking for. And we're going to input some information. Now, one of my future iterations that I'm working on is actually having different types of measurements, such as cups and teaspoons as opposed to grams. But in the interest of doing my calculations at this point in time, I've converted everything to grams. And so we're just going to throw in some numbers here. And go to our next screen. And this part of the screen, we're going to talk about how we put this together. And in this case, I'm just going to say we're going to mix it up. But this is where you would say this is what you mix together first, what you mix in, any of those things. We're going to go to our next screen, and it's going to bring us back to this wizard. So now I want to go and see where are my cookies. And so I've got some other recipes in here, and here are my chocolate cookies. And all of the information that we pulled in here and put into our wizard is now in our recipe, including our recipe ingredients. Now, one of the things that I needed to do in order to make this happen is I needed to create a junction object, and that is our recipe ingredient object here. And its parent is the recipe itself, but then it pulls from my pantry items. And as you can see, I have all of my items in the pantry, including the calories per gram. And that's going to let me pull in some future iterations. So one of the things that was not quite ready for today, but I am working on, is making the data table part of a reactive flow and bringing in not just the pantry components, but being able to add the values in at the same time. And so I can do my calculations. Some of the other iterations down the road that I'm working on is creating a cupboard for all of my tools, which would require another junction object. And that cupboard would hold your baking sheets, your pans, any tools, utensils that you would need. And you could pull that into your recipe as well. On top of that, I want to make a menu planner. And as I make that menu planner, it's going to pull back from the recipe to tell me what I need to buy, and I can generate a grocery list from that planner. So I was really glad to be able to show this to you today. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk about it. And thank you so much for your time.
Fantastic and perfect timing. You can hear my alarm going off as we speak. So great job. I loved it. I don't know about everybody else, but I am desperately craving a chocolate cookie. But so much goodness in there. Love the flow. Love that you're modeling data objects, brought that junction object in there. People that know me know that I'm particularly fond of folks who are data model fluent. So shout out to that. Nancy, that was amazing. Look at, and Connie's dropping pictures to drive it home.
Thank you.
Fantastic job.